You know you're an introvert when a canceled plan feels better than Christmas morning. From awkward party moments to the art of avoiding phone calls, these are 10 struggles that make introverts laugh, cry, and nod in silent agreement. Number 1, the phone call panic. There's a special kind of dread that introverts feel every time the phone rings. It's not just a phone call, it's a test, a surprise you didn't ask for, a mini heart attack in your pocket. You glance at the screen and see a number you recognize, and immediately your brain runs through 100 scenarios. Do I answer? Do I let it ring? What if it's bad news? What if I have to talk for too long? And if it's someone you barely know, or worse, a telemarketer, your entire body tenses up. You might pick it up after 3 rings just so it stops and immediately start regretting it. Your voice comes out in this strange, clipped monotone like you're speaking a language you barely know. You struggle to find small talk topics that aren't painful. Hi. Yes. I'm fine. How are you? And inside your brain is screaming, just text me next time. Why did you call? And then the worst part? After the call ends, you feel drained. You slump down, maybe flop onto the couch, feeling like you just survived a battle. It doesn't matter if the call was only 2 minutes. The mental gymnastics, the energy it takes to interact, and the tiny bursts of anxiety, it all adds up. For introverts, phone calls are not just communication. They're an energy tax, and the balance sheet always seems negative. Number 2, the small talk struggle. Small talk is one of those social rituals that extroverts breeze through effortlessly. But for introverts, it's a marathon they didn't train for, a performance with no script, and a conversation that seems to stretch endlessly. It starts harmlessly. The weather, a recent TV show, a coworker's cat. But very quickly, it becomes exhausting. You're nodding, saying the right words, asking the right questions, but inside, your mind is elsewhere. You're imagining your bed, your favorite book, maybe even a quiet walk outside where no one is talking at all. And yet, you have to keep pretending. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You smile when your social battery is screaming for a break. Small talk feels like talking in code, trying to act interested while your brain is screaming, why are we talking about this? Why does this matter? And by the end, you walk away feeling like you gave 100% of your energy to something completely meaningless. Every introvert knows this struggle, the silent, invisible exhaustion that follows a simple conversation. Number 3, the group project dilemma. Group projects are the perfect storm for introverts. On paper, they sound like teamwork, collaboration, maybe even fun, but the reality is very different. Half the group talks too much, the other half does nothing, and somewhere in between, there's you, quietly trying to figure out how to get anything done without losing your mind. You want to contribute, but the thought of arguing over who does what or defending your ideas in front of people who don't care is unbearable. So you end up doing most of the work yourself. Not because you enjoy it, not because you want the credit, but because avoiding conflict is worth far more than sleeping an extra hour or watching a show you love. Sometimes the group project turns into a comedy of errors, people missing deadlines, last-minute changes, endless meetings that could have been emails. And through it all, you quietly handle it, taking notes, organizing tasks, and finishing the project perfectly. The introvert strategy is simple. Work hard, stay silent, survive. And when it's over, you might feel exhausted, but there's a quiet satisfaction. You survived the chaos without losing your sense of calm. Your superpower in a world designed for noise. 4. The social battery crash. Every introvert has an invisible social battery that drains with every interaction. At first, everything is fine. You can smile, nod, laugh at jokes, hold conversations. But slowly, the meter drops. A joke that would normally make you laugh suddenly feels like a chore. A simple conversation begins to feel like running a marathon in quicksand. People often don't notice. They say, "You seem fine," but you're internally screaming. Every smile is effort. Every response is calculated. And then the crash happens. It's sudden, like a laptop shutting down without warning. Your mind blanks. You can't focus on words. You retreat inward, forcing a smile while your body screams for solitude. Recharging isn't instant. A quick break isn't enough. You need
hours, maybe even a whole evening to rebuild that energy. For introverts, socializing is not just tiring, it's an investment. And sometimes, no matter how much you prepare, the battery still runs out too quickly. It's a struggle few understand, but anyone who's introverted knows the feeling all too well. The quiet exhaustion that follows a day in a noisy world. 5. The exit strategy. Exit strategies are a sacred art in the introvert world. From the moment you enter a social setting, you're already planning your escape. Every party, meeting, or group hangout comes with the mental checklist. The exits, the excuses, the perfect timing. You think of every possible way to leave without offending anyone. Maybe you claim early work tomorrow, a sudden headache, or the classic, I have to take care of my pet. You might even wait for a quiet moment, slip out unnoticed, and feel a rush of relief like you've just evaded a trap. The exit isn't just leaving. It's reclaiming your peace, your quiet, your comfort zone. And once you're back in your safe space, there's a kind of joy that words can't describe. The lights are softer, the air feels calmer, and everything is just yours. For introverts, the exit strategy isn't rude. It's survival. It's how you stay sane in a world that never stops talking. 6. Overthinking everything. Overthinking is a superpower that introverts didn't exactly ask for. Every decision, every interaction, and every passing thought is instantly analyzed, reanalyzed, and dissected like a science experiment. Even the simplest choices feel monumental. What to eat for lunch isn't just salad or pasta. It becomes a logistical problem. What if the salad isn't filling enough? What if the pasta is too heavy and makes me tired for the next meeting? Should I eat alone or with colleagues? And if I eat with them, what if I say something awkward? Conversations are no different. Did I phrase that text correctly? Did I overreact to that message? Should I have responded immediately or waited? Every scenario runs in your head on a loop. You imagine outcomes, reactions, and consequences that may never even happen. And it's not limited to social situations. Overthinking leaks into personal decisions like whether to try a new hobby, take a new job, or even buy a new pair of shoes. Overthinking is exhausting, but introverts don't see it as a flaw. They see it as a way to process the world deeply and thoroughly. It's a constant mental exercise, sometimes overwhelming, sometimes enlightening. You become a strategist of your own life, calculating, planning, and preparing for every possibility, even the ones that will never come. And yet, after all the mental gymnastics, you're still exhausted, craving a quiet space to finally rest your racing mind.
7. The alone but lonely paradox. Introverts thrive in solitude, yet there's a delicate balance that few people understand. You crave alone time, space to recharge, a quiet room, a book, or a warm cup of tea. These moments are essential. They restore your energy, your creativity, your sense of self. But sometimes that solitude morphs into a strange kind of loneliness. You scroll through social media, watching friends post photos of parties, group trips, and laughter-filled nights. And though you're content being alone, a small part of you wonders, am I missing out? Could I enjoy being with people if I tried? Could I handle social interaction without draining myself completely? That inner conflict is exhausting because you're constantly negotiating between the desire to rest and the desire to connect. Even when you reach out selectively, it's never simple. You prefer deep, meaningful conversations over small talk, but not everyone understands that. You want connection, but not noise. Friendship, but not crowds. Intimacy, but on your terms. This paradox is the silent struggle every introvert knows, the simultaneous craving for solitude and connection. the tension between peace and human desire. Navigating it is a delicate dance, one that leaves you exhausted, yet deeply appreciative when you find someone who truly gets it. 8. The hidden exhaustion of social media. At first glance, social media seemed harmless, fun even. Posting a photo, leaving a comment, scrolling through feeds. But for introverts, it's often secretly exhausting. Each interaction carries weight. When you post something, there's the unspoken pressure: will they like it? Will they judge it? Did I say the right thing? Even lurking isn't relaxing. You scroll through smiling faces and highlight reels, and your mind begins to compare. Why aren't my weekends this exciting? Why don't I do more? Comments, likes, and shares are minor events for some, but for introverts, they can feel draining. You analyze every word, every reaction, every nuance. Should I reply to that comment? Did I misinterpret it? And even if you don't participate, merely observing the activity of others takes mental energy. Measuring, comparing, reflecting. It's exhausting because introverts are constantly managing their energy, and social media is a hidden drain. The quiet craving for peace eventually wins. No matter how engaging the content or entertaining the scroll, the desire for solitude, for real silence, for mental reset always outweighs digital engagement. Social media is a battlefield for introverts, a place where they're expected to engage but secretly want to hide. And when they finally log off, there's a wave of relief so deep it almost feels like stepping out of a storm into calm sunlight. 9. The overcommitment trap. Introverts are polite by nature, and this politeness often leads to overcommitment. It's hard to say no without feeling guilty, even when you know your energy is limited. A coworker asks for help, a friend invites you to an event, a family member expects you at a gathering. You say yes despite knowing your social battery is already dangerously low. Before you realize it, your schedule is a tangled web of obligations. You're attending 3 social events in one weekend, trying to help with projects, and squeezing in time to recharge, which never fully happens. The exhaustion creeps in gradually. At first, you're managing, but by the second commitment, the mental fatigue sets in. By the third, you feel like you're barely functioning. Overcommitment isn't just about physical presence. It's about mental energy. Each yes costs something unseen. Focus, creativity, patience. Introverts pay a price that extroverts rarely notice. Learning to say no is not easy. It's a skill acquired painfully over time. But once mastered, it's transformative. You protect your energy, reclaim your time, and honor your need for solitude without guilt. Every introvert eventually learns that the power of no is essential for survival, creativity, and happiness. 10. The desire to disappear without notice. This is the ultimate introvert struggle, the quiet, burning desire to vanish without notice. Not in a dramatic sense, but simply to retreat to your safe space and escape the constant stimulation of the outside world. Crowded rooms, endless chatter, and unspoken social expectations can feel overwhelming, even unbearable. You long for a moment when no one is demanding attention, when you don't have to perform, smile, explain, or justify yourself. You imagine slipping away, quietly, back to your comfort zone, to a room where the air is calm, the light is soft, and the silence is welcoming. This is where creativity, focus, and peace reside. And it's not just about avoiding people, it's about regaining energy, reclaiming control over your mental state, and restoring balance. Introverts often feel guilty for wanting this, as if retreating makes them selfish or antisocial. But it's essential. The world is loud, demanding, and overwhelming, And disappearing, even for a few hours, is a lifeline. It's where introverts recharge, reflect, and prepare to face life again. And every introvert knows that feeling, the immense relief, the gentle joy of returning to a place where nothing is required and everything is allowed to be just quiet, calm, and yours. Being an introvert isn't a weakness. It's not a flaw, a quirk, or something that needs fixing. It's a way of experiencing the world deeply, quietly, thoughtfully. Every struggle we've explored today is part of a rhythm that introverts navigate every day. It shapes how we connect, how we think, and how we create. These struggles aren't just challenges, they're signals. They tell us when we need rest, when we need space, when we need to honor our own energy. They remind us that it's okay to step back, to choose solitude, to prioritize our peace. And in those quiet moments, we find clarity, creativity, and strength that the loudest voices in the world may never understand. So, next time someone doesn't get why you need to leave a party early, why you overanalyze a text, or why a phone call feels like a battle, remember this. Your way of living quietly is powerful. It's thoughtful, intentional, and deeply human. And even though the world may feel overwhelming, the introvert's path, quiet, reflective, and gentle, is one of resilience, insight, and unseen strength. And while these struggles might never completely go away, they become part of the story you carry with you, a story only you can tell. The next time you feel the pull to vanish, overthink, or recharge alone, embrace it. Because in that quiet space, the real magic happens. And somewhere just beyond your comfort zone, a new understanding, a new connection, or a new inspiration is waiting, if you're ready to find it.